Welcome, business leaders. Let's jump right into the cinematic introduction to the International Organization for Standardization 31700 Standard. We are looking at a foundational blueprint for protecting personally identifiable information, or PII, in our modern digital economy. Because let's face it, consumer trust and how well you meet individual privacy needs, those are absolutely defining concerns for any successful business today.
As we look at the Canadian Mirror Committee seal, which really represents a gold standard in data protection, we establish a core architectural requirement of modern business. Consumer trust simply cannot be an afterthought anymore. It has got to be proactively built directly into your product design from day one.
Consider this incredibly powerful philosophy, originally coined by the Information and Privacy Commissioner of Ontario, Canada. This one sentence serves as the moral and business foundation for our entire technological ecosystem. It's the idea that privacy isn't some heavy burden placed on the shoulders of the individual user. Instead, it's a fundamental requirement seamlessly woven into the products they use every day.
Today, our agenda covers designing for consumer trust, empowerment and transparent communication, institutionalization and leadership responsibility, ecosystem and product lifecycle, applying the privacy principles, and finally, the future of digital trust. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Designing for consumer trust. Let's establish exactly what it means to build privacy into our products from the ground up.
The crucial point here is the definition itself. Rather than treating data protection like a bolted-on accessory or a reactive compliance checklist, privacy by design mandates that security is a default, functional requirement. It literally has to be seamlessly integrated into the very fabric of your consumer offerings right from the initial concept phase, and then rigorously maintained throughout the entire life cycle of the product.
Section 2. Empowerment and transparent communication.
There's a rapidly growing market demand for accurate privacy assertions and systematic due diligence. Organizations have to earn trust by analyzing privacy entirely from the consumer's perspective. What does that mean? Well, it means allowing your users to effectively manage their own data through highly usable, human-centered design. Because empowering consumers to manage their privacy controls is an absolutely critical check against the misuse of personal information.
And to support that empowerment, you must succinctly and clearly communicate exactly how personal information is protected. You need to do this using simple terms that respect the diverse capabilities of all your consumers, whether we're talking about minors, the elderly, or those with potential vulnerabilities. Transparency isn't about writing a dense 20-page legally binding privacy policy. It's about facilitating confident, genuinely informed decision-making for everyone.
By granting consumers clear insight into exactly how their PII is processed, you provide another critical check against misuse. Combining robust back-end protections like data encryption with clear user-facing consent management lays the ultimate groundwork for transparent digital trust.
Section 3. Institutionalization and leadership responsibility.
We really must transition away from viewing privacy as merely a reactive compliance burden. That annoying box to check off at the very end of development. Instead, we have to institutionalize it as a consistent, proactive functional requirement that sits right alongside your core business, engineering, and design interests. It's a massive mindset shift from what do we have to do to not get fined to how do we proactively engineer this to protect our users. But here's the thing. True accountability begins at the executive level. It demands that leadership demonstrates a clear, unwavering commitment to privacy, delineating responsibilities across all technical and business stakeholders. Without leadership championing this from the boardroom on down, privacy by design simply cannot be successfully operationalized.
So what does that look like in practice? Well, the organization has to designate a specific accountable person who is responsible for the overall effectiveness of the product's privacy controls. Furthermore, leadership needs to establish multifunctional teams, bringing together different experts to cooperatively manage how PII is processed. And finally, meticulous documentation regarding risk assessments and data flows must be rigorously managed and protected. By formally assigning these roles, you ensure privacy management is never siloed, but is always comprehensively supported by cross-functional expertise.
Section 4. Ecosystem and Product Lifecycle.
This standard demands that privacy considerations encompass the complete life cycle. It starts at phase 1, the initial concept, well before a product ever hits the market. It continues right through phase 2, during active consumer use, software updates, and daily operations. And crucially, it extends all the way to phase 3, guaranteeing protection during product retirement and ensuring the eventual, secure destruction of all associated personal data. This implies a massive scope. In today's digital world of shared platforms and interconnected devices, an ecosystem approach is absolutely mandatory. This ensures data protection remains robust even when contextual factors like third-party supply chains, external data processors, or cloud applications lie entirely outside the direct control of your single organization. You have to consider the whole shebang.
To secure this vast ecosystem, organizations must rigorously identify and treat information security risks. Structured risk assessments help you prioritize management responses. Comprehensive use case analysis forces your teams to explore deliberate misuse and abuse cases, rather than just planning for those happy path standard operations. And detailed data mapping reveals the unseen flow of information, catching vulnerabilities way before they become headline-making breaches.
Section 5. Applying the privacy principles. Let's see how this translates for your product teams. It all comes down to execution. Step 1. Identify the risks to confidentiality and integrity early on. Step 2. Designers must implement consumer configurable settings that default to the highest appropriate level of privacy. No tricky opt-outs, just secure defaults right out of the gate. Step 3. Carefully plan a pre-withdrawal period for product retirement, proactively notifying consumers and securely deleting their data. Whether you're developing online retail platforms, fitness applications, or smart home devices, executing these interconnected steps guarantees consumer protection remains an unbroken chain.
Section 6. The future of digital trust.
Ultimately, the International Organization for Standardization 31700 standard transforms the abstract, sometimes nebulous concept of privacy into a measurable, engineered reality. By institutionalizing trust through architectural integrity, privacy becomes a functional requirement that actually drives commercial success rather than acting as a frustrating roadblock. It's a real game changer. So, as you architect the future of your organization, will you build consumer trust directly into the fabric of your products, or will you force the individual to bear the burden of protection? I highly encourage you to review your current product life cycles today. Ask yourself if your ecosystem is truly designed to lead in data protection, or if it's time to rebuild your foundation. Thank you so much for joining me for this introduction to advancing privacy by design.